everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ravneet. Today I'm going to be updating you guys on my Pan That palette progress for 2021. As you might have already guessed it from the title, it's finale. I'm ending this project. I will be talking about where we were last month with this palette and where we are at now. Also, I want to share the information about how many times I've used this palette before the start of this project. I was telling my eyeshadow uses since 2020. It didn't have a lot of uses to begin with. Before we move forward, I'm gonna show you where we were last month and what my goals were. I only had 2 shades left in this palette and my goals were to finish both of them completely. I was using both of them every day and the product got so thin that it was really hard for me to get the product on my brush, so I had to repress them, and this is how they looked like after repressing. I repressed them around mid-June, and this is the moment you all have been waiting for. This is how the palette looks like today. It is all empty. I was able to finish both of those eyeshadows off. I'm so happy. This is my second palette empty of this year, and if you want to know what my first palette empty is, you can just watch my previous video on Pan That palettes. I'll link that down below. And I'm also about to finish my third palette. Again, I was working on all of these palettes since last year, so I did not start from brand new and then just finished all of them in like 6 months. That is not how it happened. For this guy, I made it official Pan That palette this year, but last year I was still using it like a bit here and there, but I wasn't focusing on it at all. I will be putting up a picture of how many times I had these eyeshadows used before start of this project. And how many times I've used all of those eyeshadows this year. And total amount of uses. Let's quickly talk about how I have been using each shade. So for the first shade, I was just using it to set my eyelids on the upper portion. So I don't set my eyelids completely. What I do is I just put the eyeshadow over here, like in my crease, in order to help out the crease colors to blend better. That's how I have been using the first shade. The second one on this side, I was using it in my inner corners and as a brow bone highlight. That's how I used it up. And the following shade was a pretty orange shade. I was using it as my crease slash transition shade. I have worn it on my eyelids a couple times, but yeah, I was just mostly using it in my crease. And then there was a pink shade in here. I was using it the same way I used the orange shade. And I tried to wear it on my eyelids couple times, but yeah, mostly I was just using it in my transition area and in my crease. And then the falling shade was a pretty blue. Again, mattes in this palette are so blendable and smooth and nice to work with, but shimmers, they needed help. For blue, I was using it on my eyelids. Once I was using a glitter glue, or I will like pack them on, they would look pretty. And I have also used it as a liner a few times, but yeah, mostly I just use it on my eyelids. And then the bottom shade, I was using it the same way I was using the orange and the pink shades, again in my transition area. It was a bit darker for me, but I was just using it either way because I wanted to like get use out of it. And then from this side, the first eyeshadow was a nice gold. Again, the shimmers, I talked about them earlier, but I was using it mostly in my inner corners. Like after I finished off this eyeshadow, then I started using this in my inner corners and also on my eyelid. Again, really needed a lot of product for this eyeshadow to show up on my eyes as their full intensity. The pink shade in here, it would get hard pan so easily. I would like literally scrape it and then just wet it, or just like literally pack it on my eyes on top of a sticky base. That's how I used it, and that's why it took so little amount of uses to get used up. Again, I had some uses on it previously, but yeah. And for the mauve shade that was in here, that again had the same case. It wasn't as intense as I would like it to be for a shimmer, but it was powdery too. So I used it few times in my transition area, like as a matte, because the sparkles won't just show up. But if I was packing it on to a sticky base, it would like turn out to be a really beautiful shimmer. So that's how I liked to use it, and that's why I used it up in very few uses compared to the other ones. And then we had the dark matte brown here. I was using it in my eyebrows mostly, but it was a little bit warmer for me, so I frankened it with like a blue shade to make it a little cooler, and that's how I used it in my eyebrows. But I have also used it as my outer corner shade a lot of times, and that's how I was able to like get through this a lot faster because I was multi-purposing it. This is one of the look that I created using this palette. I was really in love with this look. I really loved how the blue and oranges played together and they complemented each other. My overall thoughts on this palette, I liked it. I really enjoyed working on it. I really loved how the mattes performed, and they were buildable. They weren't patchy at all. Like I would just put my brush in and slap it on my eyes, good to go. Like they didn't leave any sort of harsh lines or anything like that. And shimmers, I have shared my thoughts about them. Not my favorite shimmer formula, not the best shimmers either, but still they were workable, and once you really like pack them on, they show up and they look pretty. So they weren't like, you know, some bad color or creasing. Once I put them on, they would stay there. Thank you so much for following my journey and encouraging me throughout the journey. I would really like to thank you all for the encouragement and all the amazing planners out there that were inspiration to me. With that, I'm going to be wrapping up this finale. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.